The Octagon is not just in Las Vegas anymore. Nope, guys, it's also in your hands. With DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC. Get ready, because remember, Rob faces off against John in a rematch at UFC 323. Every punch, every takedown, every finish, every attempt has the potential to pay off for you in real time. New customers can turn $5 into $200 if your bet wins, paid instantly in bonus bets. And hey, Missouri, the wait is over. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State. Stay in on the action and use your bonus bets in DraftKings same-game parlays. This gives you a shot at an even bigger payout. Do you love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has you covered. Bet live on star player props and in-progress games right as they happen. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. When you do, use the promo code SONNEN. That's code SONNEN to turn $5 in bets into $200 in bonus bets if your pick wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Now, as you guys know, I am lifelong friends, college roommates with one of Arman Tsarukyan's coaches, specifically Daryl Christian. So Arman has a level of protection over here at Bad Guy Inc. But let's discuss him for a moment, because Arman went out and did some extremely heavy lifting in fighting Dan Hooker. You guys, I fear, forgot how that fight got made. But that fight got made, and a lot of people were going, hey, wait a minute. I thought Serukian was going to fight Ilia. Well, a lot of people thought that he was, but time started going by. Ilia said, I got whatever going on. I'm waiting until 2026. Serukian said, I'm not. Serukian went and did a grappling match and signed up for an MMA fight, which turned out to be against Hooker. And Dana White just goes, look, enough. I respect it. Whoever comes out of it is our number one contender. So let's stay on Serukian. You got to remember that was established going into that fight. See, we forget so many things on the back end of a fight. Even a promise like a number one contendership. Well, you know, how serious is that? And moreover, why did they get the promise in the first place? Well, these guys got the promise because Serukian was already in line. Serukian already had a signed contract to take on Islam. 12 hours would have gone by and he would have been a title contender. Come back to Serukian backing up for Charles Oliveira in his title fight with Ilia Tapora. If anything would have happened to Charles or Ilia, because it was an undisputed belt, Serukian goes in. History says backup fighter goes next. So instead of applying history and having your backup fighter in Serukian go into another fight, who in this case turned out to be against a stone cold stud named Dan Hooker, you see where the promise of a number one contendership is a promise we'd like to keep. It was well deserved, it was well earned, and now it's even been established. But, and you do have a but, what everybody's talking about when they do number one contenderships, or you're the best at this weight class, or you're next at this weight class, what everybody's talking about is just perfectly straight driving. Not a potential for an unseen, a potential for a retired fighter to come back, for an established fighter to change weight classes, for a total stud to step aside and say, I'm taking a break. That throws a wrench into everything. All right, I'm getting a message here. Arman thought Patty would get the title fight even with a win over Hooker. So what Arman is talking about here is Arman said, and he just shared this with us all, but he said, hey, listen, guys, before I was fighting Hooker, I knew that Patty was going to get the title fight. Now, he didn't follow up on that thought. But so let me guess on that thought. When Arman defeats Hooker, and it could have been the other way around, but we know the result. Arman defeats Hooker. Arman becomes the number one contender. A very common misunderstanding with that verbiage is that the next time the title is contested, I, the number one contender, will be part of it. But that's not how you should interpret it. When you become the number one contender, it means the next time you're in a competition, it will be for the championship. Point being, Paddy could have been supposed to fight for it before the Hooker-Arman fight, during the Hooker-Arman fight, after the Arman-Hooker fight. It wouldn't have anything to do with it, as long as Arman's next match is for a title. Do you see how that works? You see that distinction? Good. I know that you do. But let me use that as a jumping off point to then discuss what could happen to Arman, because this could also turn out to be a real pain in the ass. These guys aren't going to fight until next year. Now, I realize that's not that far away, but it's still next year. It's still a training camp and a fight away. Well, let's look at the other end of it. Whoever comes out of that isn't going to be hot and heavy calling for somebody. They know who they've got. Again, as long as everything drives straight down the road here, they've got Ilia. So now Serukian isn't getting slighted. He's getting accidentally sidelined. That's worse. You'd rather be slighted. You'd rather, hey, that deal we made, it's not good. I got this opponent for you. Great. I'm a fighter. That's what I do. I get my heart broken on a regular basis. I then go into training camp. I then get on airplanes, get licensed, make weight, and I fight a man. Fly home, start that whole thing over again after the next phone call. And I offer you that because let's look at that. So we're going to go, what is it, January 26th? January 24th? Paddy versus Justin. Come out of that, winner draws in to Ilia, which the only thing we know right now about Ilia is that he will not be fighting the first quarter. Great. Let's go to the second. Let's call it summer. Let's call it International Fight Weekend. So last time Ilia fought, let's say that's the next time that he fights. That keeps Serukian, that forces Serukian to have an accidental punishment while trying to reward him. So if you're a Serukian supporter, and we over here are, let's make this real clear. We don't want that number one contendership anymore. We do want it to be known that we are the best. Serukian will fight Paddy or Justin for this intram belt if that opportunity comes up. But other than that, he doesn't want to sit around and wait. While Ilia is not fighting in the first quarter, Serukian wants to fight in the first quarter. And then again, he would like to fight Ilia in the second quarter. So Ilia has mentioned that he fancies that BMF belt and he fancies Max Holloway. My understanding was that Max and Oliveira have already come to an agreement on that. And I realize it hasn't been announced, but it's pretty strong. Telephone, telegraph, telewrestler, the word's going to get out. And I do believe that rumor to be true. So for now and for today, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to make some phone calls. I'm going to get some better information, and I'm going to put a better path, a better plan together for Serukian. Today, we speculate. Tomorrow, we have a real clear plan. But Serukian, make no mistake, Serukian's in a very good spot. And did he get screwed here? Well, let me tell you this. To screw a guy, you got to have an intent to screw him. Sometimes things just happen. In this case, things happen, but nonetheless, Team Serukian, we want something. We're going to tell you what that is tomorrow.